Good morning and welcome to your own channel Edu Bharat here. Today I am here with a new video, Principles of Effective Communication. So already we have done employability skill part 1, that is effective communication is the clear and accurate exchange of information. As you know, communication is the word communicare derived from the Latin word communicare, that means to share. So communication understood, now the effective communication. So effective communication is the clear and accurate exchange. So there are some principle of effective communication. Different types of communication we have learned: verbal, non-verbal and visual. So how can this type of communication can only be effective when all the 7 C's like concrete, concise, clarity, correct, coherent, complete and courteous of communications are followed. So what are the effective communications principles? Let me check. So the first is the clear or clarity. While communicating, be clear about the goal of the message. Be sure about the purpose of communicating with the audience. So the first and very important thing is clarity, or we can say the clear. So you should be very clear about what you want to say. And the second is concise, that means one should be stick to the point and keep it short. That means you should use simple and required word of communication. And the next one is concrete, that is you have to use exact word and fact. The meaning of the message should be strong so that the audience can easily understand what the message wants to convey. And the next one is the correct. It should be correct spelling and the grammar. There should not be mistake. Communication should be error-free. One should always convey right things without misleading the audience. And the next one is coherent, that is you make word make sense and relate to the main topic. All points of the message should connect to each other and be relevant to the main topic. इधर उधर नहीं होना चाहिए, आपकी बात जो आप कहना चाहते हैं उसी पॉइंट पे स्टिक रहना चाहिए, ठीक है. सो दीज आर द पॉइंट. एंड द नेक्स्ट इज द कंप्लीट. Should include all the required information. Obviously, incomplete sentence or incomplete communications may be dangerous. Okay. So here we can take that complete, we follow that. So complete means the message should convey all facts required by the audience. Always give additional information wherever required so that there is no question left in the mind of the receiver. It should be complete. And the next is courteous. You always be respectful for others' opinion. The communication should be honest, respectful and friendly. There should not be any hidden insult or passive aggressiveness tone and indicate rudeness. So be polite, be respectful, be honest and be friendly to communicate. So these are the principles of effective communication. There are these 7 C's: clear or clarity, concise, concrete, correct, coherent, complete and courteous. Okay. Now what are the barriers of effective communication? The process of communication has multiple barriers. ठीक है. Now what are barriers? Barriers are obstacles, ठीक है, or difficulties that come in the way of communication. So what are that barriers? How can we overcome? So the barriers or obstacles, okay, in communication is all clubbed under a common label that is called noise. So noise is an undesirable input due to which communication barriers enter the communication process and cause distortion of the message. So these barriers, different types of barriers, okay, or obstacles, we can say this distortion of the message. The first is the physical barrier. For example, text message are often less effective than face-to-face communication. Always you should prefer face-to-face communication, because text message are not effective than face-to-face message. Because physical barrier, that means the environmental and natural condition, the communication become less effective because the sender and receiver are not able to see each other. Okay, so this is called the physical barrier. Eye contact must be there while you are effective communication. Linguistic barrier, that is the language differences, is referred to as a language barrier or linguistic barrier. That means inability to communicate effectively. Why? Due to the language barrier. So language barriers are among the most frequent obstacles to communication, leading to misunderstanding and misinterpretation. For instance, slang, technical jargon, and regional expression can complicate communication. Next one is the organizational. Organization have hierarchy that adhere to performance standards, rules, regulations, procedures, policies, and behavioral norms. So these elements can hinder the free flow of communication with the organization and must be effectively managed. Okay. The next one is interpersonal. This type of barrier occurs when the sender message is received differently from how it was intended. That means it becomes very difficult to communicate with someone who is not willing to talk or express their feelings and views. Feeling nervous or anxious in social situation can prevent effective communication. So these are the interpersonal. Next is the cultural. Obviously, cultural differences, cultural barrier occur when individuals from different culture struggle to understand each other custom, leading to inconvenience and difficulties. Okay, different cultures. Next is the mechanical itself, channel itself become a barrier. How? Sometimes the voice of a person on a phone call break down due to network issue. So the channel is the barrier itself, the way, medium through which the travel. Gender, how can the gender? Because style of communicating between man and woman has generated barrier. So the speech pattern and gender stereotype cause gender barriers. The way, emotional barriers, that means fear, anger or happiness can create misunderstanding. It could be due to the childhood instances that hold people from expressing their views. That means the person is not able to express his or her views, okay, due to some emotional barriers, or you can say the person is not in the condition to say anything, like in the disappointed, maybe very sad. So this is also the barrier of the effective communication. So how can we prevent it? So measure to overcome barriers. There are different measures to overcome. The first is simple or straightforward language. The person should use the simple and straightforward language so that we can overcome the barrier. The next one is communicate in person. Wherever possible, we should communicate in person. The next is be respectful to other opinions. Always respect others' opinion for effective communication. The next one is use of translator to bridge the gap between language gap, cultural gap. Translator must be used, or any assistance can be used. Any visual aid can be used. Any visual aids can be used for the language barrier, cultural barrier, or any other. Avoid taking assumption based on culture, religions, or geography. So the next is the writing skill. Whenever we are talking about the communication skill, oral communication and the writing skill, we require sentences, capitalization, punctuation, phrases, and basic part of the speech. Now we will cover here the capitalization sentence, the part of sentences, that is subject, predicate. Then you should know basic parts of speech like pronoun, verb, adjective, adverb, preposition, conjunction, interjection, articles, punctuation, the part of several types of punctuation marks like period, comma, question mark, exclamation mark, colon, semicolon, apostrophe. So these are the common and easy part. Articles already you have done, but the new thing is there's the rules of capitalization. So question can arise, what are the TIN's rule of capitalization, and in some book it is mentioned rules of capitalization directly. So what is TINS? T for the capitalize the first letter in the title, T for title, ठीक है. तो first letter in the title before people's name, that is Dr. D, R, Rastogi, R, Dr. Sharma, Mr. Sharma, M should be capital. Second is I, always capitalize pronoun I, regardless its position in a sentence. For example, I am just giving you the sentence, I live in a beautiful apartment and she lives in a lovely house. So first letter I must be in capital. But suppose we change the sentence and we start from the she lives in a lovely house and I live in a beautiful apartment. So here also I must be, because it is proper noun. Don't matter in where is the place in the sentence of I, but it should be capital. The next is the N. Capitalize the first letter in the names. N for names, T for title, I for pronoun I, and the N for the names of people, place, days, things and months. It should be first letter, that is in capital, like Friday, India, or we can say January. The first letter always in capital. So these are the rules. The next is S. Capitalize the first letter in every sentence. For example, we can write simple, the little girl lost her book. This is a simple sentence I have taken. So the first letter must be capital. Or we can say in any books MINTS, that is the mints. For example, month and day's name, I for the letter I by itself, N for the names, T for the titles, and S for the start of sentence. So this is the rules of capitalization we should follow for the writing skill, or this is a part of the communication. So writing skill are the crucial and clear communication and expressing ideas effectively, and it is different from the oral communication. So the next is recap. What is noise in context of communication, as I told you. So what is noise? That the barriers. What are the communications barrier or obstacles? Okay? Commonly as a label we just give the name noise. So you can explain. So this is the noise in context of the communication. Simply we can say this is the obstacles or barrier in effective communication. Next question is, Mahesh is preparing a speech competition at his school's cultural program. Okay. So what happened when he is making this? Then what tips can you suggest? The question is, what tips you can suggest him enhance his speech writing skill? That means communication with the audience. He want to communicate with the audience. So what he has to do first? He should focus on making his speech clear and logical, ensuring it has a strong structure with a clear introduction, body and conclusion. Three parts of the speech. First is introduction, second is the body part, and last is the conclusion part. It must be clear, and his aim for engaging content, maintaining a consistent tone and use persuasive language to capture and retain the audience attention. So you must write it. List any 4 barriers in communication, as we have done. Any 4 barriers you can write. What are the 4 barriers? That is linguistic, interpersonal, and organizational, emotional. Any 4 you can write it and explain it. List any 4 measures are taken to overcome barriers in communication. What are the What are the barrier for measures you should take overcome barriers in communication? So you can write any four, that is use straightforward languages, utilize visual aids, translator to bridge language gaps, respects other opinion, communicate in person wherever possible. So these are the measure you can write or explain it. And the next question is, how can cultural differences be a barrier to effective communication? With the example you can explain it. Cultural barrier occurs when individual from different culture, ठीक है, two person, those want to be communicate, both are from different culture, so they have to struggle to understand each other's custom, leading to inconvenience and difficulties. Stereotypical assumption about others based on their cultural background can cause differences in opinion and become significant obstacles to effective communication. You can give the example. Even in India, one South Indian people communicate with the North Indian people, their customs are different, okay? They are cultural different, geographically different, so it may be the cultural barrier to understand or to communicate with each other. So this can be obstacles to effective communication. So how can remove it? By the help of translator or understand. So you can write the measure to overcome barrier to effective communication. So these we have covered: writing skill, principle of effective communication, 7 C's of communication, barriers in effective communications, different types of barriers, measure to overcome, and the questions. And the next part is the self discipline, self management skill. So this was the part 1 we have covered. Employability skill, communication skill 2 we can say, and the next we will try to do the self management skill 2. So I hope all you understood. If any doubt, just comment me, so I will try to explain more. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye.